currently the floor stand, the only inline conversation is they are talking about right now where they found space for 900 doors of the 1,300. So the other would be for inline. So the bulk of the stores, 900 stores theoretically, would be this display. And then a variation of this display would go to their inline. And we're thinking kind of like a cabinet, you know, so a piece of this would go inline. So we could talk about that when everybody's on, so we're on the same page.
Okay, Erica, you're on?
Hello.
Yes.
Yes.
He just got on. And Logan should be on in just a second. And I don't see Josh, but okay, Logan, you're on, right? Logan, can you hear us?
Yeah, yep, I can hear you.
Okay, now we can see you as well. Okay, great.
Oh.
Meaning that we can see your name, not you. Okay, Michael, whenever you're ready.
All right, guys. So, Joe, I haven't dragged you in on this until we kind of felt like it was really going to move forward. So everybody, Joe was brought on board years ago, and he basically made a turnkey permanent facility within Orange Packaging. So that's how we really started doing a lot of high-end permanent, like that Remy unit that you saw. So, guys, what we have here is, this started out with Beauty Partners sending me some information where I went to an Ulta, and these existing units are what they get to replace. So what we've turned it into is this. And these final designs, or the final look, has been approved, and now we are in fast super mode to get a sample done by the 19th. So this is really just to kind of get everybody on the same page, hear what Beauty Partners needs us to do and how we're going to do it. And Erica, I think it's important for any input you have, since we went in and we designed this to this extent where we gave an exploded view, but obviously now Erica's going to get into the fine tuning and creating these final engineered drawings so we can have all these parts router cut and they all go together seamlessly, blah, blah, blah. So I really want to probably turn it over to Beauty Partners and have you guys just tell us what your expectations are, anything we need to know, and what you think the next steps are.
Yeah, thank you for that, Michael. Right now, obviously, the goal is, as Mike said, to get this prototype up to Ulta by mid next month. That is our first priority. It sounds like the program will be at launch in the first week of February. And in Ulta world, that means that we want this obviously to go through their DCs and not ship 1,300 stores direct. That would mean that we need to have this at the Ulta DCs by 1:15. Just to give you some timing on all this. So it is tight, as Mike said, we're kind of in fast track mode right now.
Yep.
We have a couple of display drawings from you, including the one that you have up right now, and I think that's kind of the latest version we're working with. The dimensions and the footprint seem to be all good with us, right?
Yeah, the 24.5 inches wide, right?
Yeah.
By 53.5
inches
inches
tall is fine,
and the
and
14.75
14.75 is good.
Right.
Yeah.
In depth.
Yeah, so I think we're good on the dimensions as well.
If I'm looking at the drawing, that 24.5 is not counting the overhang of the
leaf?
the front.
Right.
Yeah, that's okay. That's fine. We're just talking the footprint that goes on the deck, on the floor.
Okay.
Yeah, that's perfect. Yeah, anything else on that?
No,
That's fine.
is the curvature, the waterfall. That's the most dramatic that you can do because it's of the restricting amount is the top.
I don't want to say that this is the most we can do. These are good questions for a request for you guys to tell us now, and then we can see how
Just
far
to
we
make
can.
it a little more dramatic, if you keep it in the same 14.75 depth, but if you could push back the top, again, what we need in this, and Michael, it really comes down to the tray that you're using on the front, right?
Right
Is
here.
that those trays in the front of the whole presentation are going to drive the rest of how this is constructed. So number one, we need this display to just look spectacular. Ulta continues to raise the bar in terms of the quality and creativity of their merchandising. So don't look at Sally Hansen, look at Urban Decay, look at Too Faced, look at those upscale trending brands as our inspiration and how this has to come to be. And yes, Sephora as well. But at the same time, we need this to be economical because we don't want all of our money to go into a display. If we don't market this properly, it's going to die. So, we have this fine line between creating a outstanding point of purchase display and getting, millions of women to, influencers, et cetera, right? I mean, we told Ulta that we're going to nationally advertise it. So that means, full page ads in Allure magazine, Marie Claire, this needs to be marketed appropriately. So we're in this together. Ulta's only the first of hopefully lots of other accounts.
Correct.
So the tray on the front, is that worth doing an injection molded tray that can be used in a variety of your different accounts and businesses? Does it become, ideally we would like that tray to be pushed, having pushers rather than gravity feed, because gravity feed it starts to get messy. But if we can't afford pushers and it becomes an obstacle in timing or cost, then we're going to have to go to option 2. But ideally, the way that, and you can go into Ulta today and look at, right, OPI SE, their standard tray that they have today. So those, right, are pushers, right, behind that. See the gondola? Do you have the side of the gondola? No, the other side. See that, the side on the right? Do you have any of those photos?
Here?
Yeah, see the brands, the big white display down the side.
Yeah, that.
Yeah. Do you have any photos of that tray?
I don't think I do.
Because that tray is a gravity-fed, clear, injection molded tray. So, we need to have, since it's living in that world, we need to look as good and perform as well, and have the same sense of quality.
Right. So one of the things that brings me back to is when I was at your office, and have we used pusher trays before? Yes, many times in certain promotional trays that we've made. Some of them were custom made on a unit that Joe and I did, like 25,000 of these trays for Samsung. But when we were all speaking, you guys threw out a number of a stock tray that you used, and I thought you said it was $12, which made me say, well, then that would be insane for us to use injection molded pusher tray, because my vacuum form trays are going to be nowhere near that. So if that really is the cost of a stock pusher tray, that you're probably more familiar with the cost of those. And if they do exist, in order to help you guys out with the budgeting, we would say, look, purchase those. Let's get dimensions. You guys supply them. I think those are the important conversations as far as cost goes, and continuing to design this and get a sample in a very short amount of time. So, one of the things that I would say would be most efficient for me, since we're shooting for, in 5 weeks to have a working sample done, is for me to vacuum form these, because I have total control over everything.
Did you look into the opportunity of putting a pusher track in your vac form?
We could do that.
You could, okay.
Yes. You could definitely do that.
Well, let me just, here's the pluses and the minuses of using another tray, right? Using another tray, the tools that are out there today, they're 12 inches. They're 11 and 7/8 inches wide. So we have a 24.5-inch front of this display. So, we're reducing the presence of color significantly. The way you have it laid out now, because we wanted to talk to you, we have the lucite model of the bottle. The bottle width is, I thought I remembered what it had. It's 3/8. It literally, it's 1 3/8 inches wide. But you need play on the left and right, when you're putting it into a track. So you probably need another 1/8 of an inch, a 1/16 on either side of the bottle, so it stays in the track appropriately. So if we do you have 9 facings. Logan and I were just at the vendor who's making the nail polish, and we laid it out to be 8. But maybe we need to go to 9. But if I do, say it's 1.5 times 9, we're at 13.5 inches wide. Do you know how you laid this out? In your drawing, what was this tray's?
Doesn't say.
Yeah, so here we have the front vac form.
13. And what is the space between for each channel?
Erica, do you know what this is? The dimension of the divider?
I believe it's around 3/16 of an inch, just because I tried to keep the spacing to go up and down with the thickness of the material. So it's as small as it can be. I think like somewhere between 3/16 and a little less than a 1/4 of an inch.
Right. Because what's not in this drawing here, guys, is let's see, where's the front view?
Yeah.
Is we have to have that plastic part that comes out, which to me was going to be a piece of PET sheet that we are going to have to give this more of a draw on the tray so we can route a slit in here. Then there'd be the piece of PET sheet that we would die cut, would be something like this. It would have hooks on the end, it would be die cut piece, and we would slide it into the front of the tray, and then this is where your information would be, and you could pull it out from the front or slide it back in.
Right.
So Erica, this is important for us to talk to after this call, as far as the height of the tray we're going to have some depth on this tray here so we can fit this piece under the tray. It can slide in.
Okay. Okay.
So, guys, I think this is where we're at. So if we have a green light to go, the last thing we want to do is start redesigning, right? So if they're happy with this, I need to know that you guys are happy with this. We can look at and see where's the drawing? Shit, where'd it go? Hold on. Bear with me. It's over here, I think. Sorry. Here it is.
So, Logan? Logan?
Can you hear me?
Yeah, now I can hear you. So we may add another shade to each one of these trays. You know how we laid it out, so which would be great. I mean, I'm all for more,
The more the merrier.
more,
Yeah.
and more shades on this thing.
Yeah.
So,
So, sorry
so
for
just we need to reconvene on that.
Yes.
So sorry for the delay, guys. I don't know why that disappeared, but what I was going to say was really the only thing I think that Erica can address right now is, can it be more of a slope? Because I know you guys would like that. But overall, I would really like to say, okay, we really need to start turning, this whole thing into engineered files so we can start making, samples quickly, put one together. We know there's going to be tweaks. And, really, even though it's 5 weeks away, every day is going to count on this for me.
So can you do a tray first? Can you do this in piecemeal? Can you work on an individual tray? Do the engineering. We have a lucite model. I mean, the boxes on both sides can adjust a little bit of their dimension, depending upon the space.
You mean these openings here you're talking about?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that tray, the 9-facing tray, to mock something up, if it's because you got to get the tiny strip on the front. You need these 9 slots that can fit our bottle effectively. If you say that you can put a pusher into your back form, how does that all look and feel aesthetically and from a quality, and how does that cost out?
Right.
So once we get the tray defined, the walls of the rest of the display, I think, are fairly easy, right?
Right. Yes.
So,
Erica, what's your thoughts on that as far as the domino effect of what affects what? I think I agree with what Barry's saying. Like if we start with the trays and then everything is built from the tray, as long as it's within reason. Like I think the more we keep building out on these trays to get more SKUs, it'll affect obviously this. Right.
Right. I think that's a good way to start. My only concern with affecting the curvature, if we're looking at it from a side point of view, is that the shallower you go on the top, it affects how many products you can fit on the left and right.
Okay.
So right now, where it is, it's at the bare minimum. If we want a more severe slope, then it's going to affect how many products. Like on the left-hand side, we have 4 across, and on the right-hand side, it's 2 of each. So we wouldn't be able to go any more severe without not being able to fit the proper SKUs.
Right. So really, the only space that we have to add comfortably right now and quickly is really in here.
Right.
If we have to pull stuff out of here, we can make this bigger.
Right.
Right. All right. So, Barry and Bruce, I need you to tell me what is it that you would like in here. I mean, you can email it to me. You don't need to tell me right now, but I'm just saying if we could get information saying, okay, guys, like right now, 1, 2, 3, 6, 7, 8, you have 9 SKUs. We would like to make it 10 SKUs.
no, 9's fine. 9's fine. 9's fine.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. All right, so it is 9. So this is acceptable.
Yeah.
Okay.
Like Barry said, we just want to make sure that it hits the bottle. So as soon as we get this
Right.
loose light model, we should probably get it up to you so you can get it in your mold or your technical drawing so you can see what it looks like.
Right. So let me do this now. I got to turn my camera on. So Erica, can you see me? Erica?
I think she's on mute.
Oh, Erica, can you see me?
Yes,
Oh.
I can see you.
So this is a Try-Me strip that we developed with Barry and Bruce a long time ago. And this is actually incorporated, will be incorporated into the, just draw so everybody's clear, into the front of this vac form tray. So
Okay.
really what we have here may grow, but I don't know how much, because what they do is we put a printed pet sheet piece over the top of this, and the ladies put their fingers in and they look at the colors, but it's actually incorporated into the vac form.
Okay.
So we'll have to talk about that. I could get you a sample of a tray that we've already done in vac form for Beauty Partners this way, and we can see how it affects everything.
Okay.
All right, so what I'm seeing is that we are really going to proceed into engineering drawings with this design, possibly see if we can scallop this a little more, incorporate the Try-Me strip into these final vac form files, start with the vac form tray, but at the same time really start engineering all of the wood so we can get it cut. And I think at the end of the day, what's also important for us to know now is that there is the,
Hey, Michael,
yep,
before you leave the tray, just to give it some sculpting again, some organic flavor, right? The whole brand's organic. That is its message. Clean, green, organic. So making this display more organic in its feeling. Can the front of the tray be a little convex? Can it have a slight little front? Yeah. Can you do that to the front of this tray, or is that asking too much?
Erica? I mean, yes, I know I can make a tray that way. I think it's a matter of how much and what does it affect, how much product does it affect. For example, I think you'd have more product here, obviously, than you would here.
No, the other way. We'd do it the other, rather than concave, do it the other way. Yep, there you go.
Oh, okay. Which is what it kind of is right now. It's just not
No,
as...
that's what I was seeing.
Right, because right now it holds 3 deep. Right now it okay.
Erica, we lost you.
But on the side, I thought it was 4
You
inches.
can make the front curve a little more severe.
We can. Okay, so, yeah, Barry, so yes, we can do that.
We just can't reduce. We need, when we send you the bottle.
Oh, okay, can you hear me?
We need to have 5 bottles per row. Yeah, 5.
And right now, it does not have 5.
So
Right now.
5 deep?
Yeah.
5 deep.
Right now, you're planning for 4 deep, Erica?
Well, the bottle's,
I think it was 3 deep.
bottle's 3/4 of an inch deep. It's an oval. The bottle's an oval.
Okay.
So it's 1 and 3/8 inches wide, and it's the front to the back is around 3/4 of an inch.
So the only issue is that if we're at 5, then it's really 4.5 inches of space. But if the pusher mechanism takes up space, then it's going to be clearly you need more than 4.5 deep.
Well, guys, I think what's happening now is this was built based on the sizes that we got from the meeting, right? So
Yeah.
this dimension. So proportionately, Erica started with that footprint and built this. What we're saying now is now you're adding an inch, and now you're adding, and now we have the Try-Me strip on top of that. That needs space also. So I don't know if that's going to physically, aesthetically work.
Yeah.
And again, it was that footprint
It's also
based on putting all of this product in the unit. So something has to give it, you know what I mean?
What is the right side back form dimension depth?
This is,
it's 10 inches wide by 8.5.
If you reduce the 8.5, does that give you more on the 4-inch front back form?
It's the 10 that's the problem. It's the width.
It's the width.
Because-
Okay, gotcha.
Right, because the front of the tray needs to go back and it interferes with that.
So our boxes are 2 and let's say 2.5 inches wide, somewhere around there, right? Do you really need the full
Okay.
10 inches on the side? How are we doing that?
Okay, so each box is 2.5 inches wide?
Yeah.
And then how many do you want facing? Because we can gain space there.
But we get
Okay, so that puts you at the 10.
the graphic.
We do like 3 and 2, 5 treatments, and then the other, the 2 makes 3. That's why I was thinking 4 and 4.
What if we go 3 down instead of 4 down? Is that a problem? No?
Hey, Michael, just going back to the OPI on the photo, did you take measurements of that exact unit?
no.
I did.
You did?
I did, yeah.
So what was the
That's
depth?
what I gave Michael.
So the depth of OPI is
14.5, yeah.
14.75? You don't want that side to be so small that it becomes immaterial. You're going to get it, it's going to be lost. You need presence. I mean, half the time people really look around and see what it is.
So what are you going to give him, 16? 16.5?
It's going to add at least.
I mean, the other thing to look at, right, is the, let's see. So you see how that dimension does pretty much, I think, go the exact width, but it also overhangs here. You know, like they give a footprint, but there's maybe an inch here, right, of space.
Yeah.
And then this exceeds because that gondola goes like this, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
But
Yeah.
this display basically looks like this footprint is from here to here, but then the top extends out over here.
Right. Right. Correct. Correct. Yeah, the other one more has like an A-frame.
Right. So I would
Yeah.
agree. Like I would think it's probably a huge no-no if that extends out to here.
No, but I think what Barry is saying, do we extend more than the 14.75? Do we go to 16.5 or whatever you need?
Do we go out here more?
Yeah, yeah, exactly.
Right. Well, only they can approve that, right? You'd have to ask them.
Correct. Correct. But, you know, do we go down that road and do all the engineering?
I would take 2 inches. Really, it's taking the product.
Erica, and I know you'll agree with me on this, really it comes down to the number of SKUs that you guys need to put in here that can fit within this footprint. If we grow this out this way, let's say it's 14.75 and we do go to 16, what you're going to gain is maybe another skew on the front. And would you gain another skew on the side, Erica?
I had a question about the product. So the 2.5 inches for the width of the product, is that for the right side or the left side?
This is not, this one I believe was the left side product that you had. And then the other one
Right.
mentioned, given that was two packs. So it was bigger. So this dimension here that we used is 2 1/8.
Right. Okay. But I just meant the right hand side. Which one was the 2.5 width that somebody mentioned before?
It's never easy. The other comment, Michael, that I wanted to share is remember when you were here, we talked about the front two corners, just the front two. Yep, see where that whole side and then the other side.
Yeah.
If that became a rounded edge that you could slide, say a 3 to 4 inch piece of graphic into a channel so that it has more, again, this rounded feel to it and not so square. So we got the waterfall going on.
Right.
Forget about the 3D applique for now on the front. If we can make that work, great. That just goes on, that's an additive on the front of the display. But if you were to, so your front piece, right? You go to your engineering drawing, your front piece would just become shorter left to right. And then you would have another piece that kind of goes, with a channel on the left and the right that you could slide this graphic, interchangeable graphic. And maybe even it becomes a translucent, it becomes, because remember, we're going to light this. We're looking to light it. So those LED strips, maybe there's a way to, on the both corners, it's a what is it called?
Transit.
A transit, right? So you have this lit on the sides that has a graphic. You have the graphic on the front, printed, maybe 3D. We got the Trimey strips. We have a graphic panels on the left and the right side panels, because that too, we need graphics there. Not only on the trays themselves, but if you have the rendering in our presentation.
Yeah.
Right. So if you remember, we had, even on the bottom, right, of the display, we had clean vegan nail color.
Right.
Part of me doesn't want to print on the, it's like some of this graphics can become, graphic panels that slide in and out, printed on paper versus printing right on your plastic material.
Right. Well, remember, we switched this, is engineered as a wooden unit now, just for the natural effect.
Oh, that's right, it's wooden.
Yeah. So one of the things you can do, going back to curving this, is you can put these edges can be bull-nosed, so they can be rounded with wood, but that's not quite exactly what you're asking for as far as, having a slide-in graphic there. Erica, do you have any input on the slide-in graphic? Because I kind of hit a roadblock with how that would look, and kind of, it almost feels in my mind like it would be more of an interrupter and not so much of a nice flow if that was a bullnose. But the bullnose adds cost. I talked to my wood supplier, and he's like, "Yeah, I can totally cut you a bullnose corner." And he said, "But I'll give you the option. It's just a lot more money to round these corners."
I think if you curve the graphic, you also have the front slope. So at some point, there's going to be a crease in the graphic if you're curving it and sloping it.
Right.
Just maybe a suggestion for the cutouts. Like maybe we can add a little more curves so that instead they don't look like a box with rounded corners. Maybe that's another way we can get, but I don't know what the cost is for that, like a more organic feel, is instead of just a straight line, adding a little bit of curve on the front and on the sides.
And when you say a little bit of curve, to where, what part?
Like this, like if you're looking at the front or the side, instead of it being a straight line, maybe it'll follow like the curves the way the leaves go. So just giving it, I guess, kind of like a wave instead of a straight line up and down.
And the straight line you're talking about is more of this?
Yes.
So these straight lines to kind of break it up with more of a, yeah, more, get rid of that, which would give it more of a natural feel.
Mm-hmm.
What do you guys think of that idea?
Trying to think of how I'm trying to visualize how that would look.
I mean, it'd probably look a lot like this. You know what I mean?
Right.
It would give the same feel as this over here. You know, your art is what's gonna really sell all of this. And I think what you guys have said from the beginning is vending machine, straight lines, curvatures is really what we have to go for. And then our balance is price versus giving something that's a lot more money. So I think that's, Eric, I think that's really a visual. Maybe you can show in a drawing, breaking up these straight lines. I don't know. I know what you mean, Barry, about putting
just to get something around, because you go into a CVS. If you go into a CVS today, you're going to see units that are similar to this. That is their standard presentation for Milani. I can send you a bunch of pictures. And you can never, at least my opinion, the shoppability of the sides, the product gets lost because you have such a focus on the front and it's such a wide panel, the sides, there's not even a reference. It's kind of lost and it's buried and it's dark and it's just, they're not creating that kind of a unit just is ugly in my opinion.
Right.
So that's why I was trying to get something that makes the consumer understand that there's product on the sides as well and increase that shoppability. So, and I hear you about the wood, doing the multiple curves here, the wave to the bottom, but well, you know what? We got to start on the tray, right? This 9-facing tray with the Try-Me panel. We got to get that going, and that standard tray, because the tray is going to be the same depth for all 8, right? You're not, or are you making different size depth of trays?
Erica, are there different sizes?
No, it would be the same tray.
Yeah.
Same tray. All right.
It should be the same. They'll stick out based on the platform underneath that's built into the wood.
Okay.
So why don't we do this?
Right.
I think the next best thing that we could do just to keep things going is to start designing the vac form tray as soon as we can. And Erica, can I throw that on your lap to do that? And I'll get you
Sure.
I'll get you the directions for the Try-Me strip. You can incorporate that into a tray. Then once we look at that, these guys are fine with it. We'll incorporate it into this design because I think that's big to see with this side view here, how it's going to look, how it's going to stick out and look there. I think you should stop. A red flag should go up if it goes too much further out than this. At the same time, I think Beauty Partners needs to let us know, do we have that 16 inches, to grow, which will compensate for whatever growth we have here. I think the negatives are going to be, there may be a sacrifice of number of product, and that sacrifice is going to come from, can we actually fit 5 on there without ruining the look of this unit? But that'll be all Beauty Partners' decision. So if we could start with a tray, we'll give a timeline when we can get the first drawing of the tray, let them approve it. Then we'll go right to prototype as fast as I can, get one in our hands, and then start building the wood files to get the raw materials laminated and cut. I think another important thing, if you guys could put on your list, is like artwork and feel. Do we stick to the original rendering that you guys supplied us, that white, and is that the colors for the wood that we want to go with, or what is the overall artwork that you guys need? Is that something you're going to supply us or guide? I would definitely need your guidance.
Yeah, Barry and I can work on the artwork and get you updated artwork this week.
Okay. Okay, great.
Or early next week.
Okay. All right, so let's do that. I think there's a lot of information here, but I think the most important things we pulled out of this is understanding what the product count is going to be, which I think we accomplished, shoving a lot of stuff in this unit, still making it look good. The second important thing is incorporating that try-me strip, which makes me ask the question, guys, if that try-me strip has to be sacrificed because of aesthetics, is that something that's an option?
No.
Okay, so that's in. So the try-me strip is definite.
That's another big differentiator.
Right. Okay. And these, we're still going with the peg hooks here. I know Erica was working on the die line for the duo piece that I will, as soon as I get one, I'll cut one and make sure that works. But these are going to be peg hooks on this side, and they were going to be peg hooks on this side also, right? Or do you guys want to do?
Again, it's a peg hook or a tray. We just want to understand what's the cost differential.
Right. Okay.
I mean, the facings would be the same. So on the left side, you have 4 facings, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 rows. Those could turn into trays versus pegs that, the peg's going to cheapen the brain.
I agree with that. Yeah.
So, we may be pound foolish here.
Right.
So we may want to do and the other thing that I was just whispering to Bruce is, can those sides maybe come out further from the side of the whole display? You see how you have the front of the display? See how you have the tray sticking out a little bit?
Yeah.
Right side, left side, see how that, so if you were to turn a left side profile, what if we had the left side tray being wider, deeper, that it comes out? The first facing it's not flush to the side, but it's sticking out by the depth of the first facing of item.
Right, like I drew here.
Like you drew kind of there. Yeah. Okay.
Erica, you got that?
Yes, I do. So then it would be a little wider than the 24.5, or if not, then I would just pull some from the graphic area where the leaves are if you're looking at a front view.
Okay.
And then we can curve the front of those trays similar to the way the front trays are curved.
Right. So that'll kind of come out like this.
Yeah, right. Yeah. Yep.
Both sides, guys, or just one side?
Yes. No, both sides. Both sides. Because those sides, the unit needs to last, at least 3-4 years. There is a good chance after year 1, we're going to be making changes to the sides especially. So that's why I was thinking trays are a lot easier to modularly, a modular approach. So making it a little deeper, will help you with, I guess, the front to back tray. Remember, the sides, we need to have at least 4 boxes.
4 boxes. What do you think, deep?
Yeah, deep. 5. Yeah, so the box is, think of them as an inch deep on both sides.
But Erica, you had those dimensions.
So now
right?
it's the same. Yes, just my question is, so then what's the product on the right-hand side? How many facings? Is it the same product on the sides?
Nope. So the right hand, nope. So on the left-hand side, and hopefully you can envision this. Let me talk to the left-hand side. The left-hand side is going to be our nail treatments. So those boxes, they each have 2 bottles of product in it, and there are 5 different versions right now, right? So, yeah, so on that side. So the idea was, let's talk about the first tray at the top. So we would have 3 facings, 3 boxes, and then we may put in a little graphic because we only have 5 kits. So there's 3 on tray 1, and there would be 2 on tray 2. We may double face, one of them, but we're kind of leaving an extra. Yeah, that would maybe be just a little cardboard, 2 graphics that fit into that space.
Yeah, leave the space.
Right? So we could add more SKUs down the road. Then the next 3 trays would be the full sizes of the items that are in those 5 boxes. So there are right now only 10 items. So 10 of those, what do you have? 4, so you have 12. So we would double face one of the SKUs, right? Or 2 of the SKUs. So those would be individual bottles. Again, that would be in the same dimension of the box as the kit on the top 2 trays, right?
And this is the box that we use.
That's basically the box, right?
Right.
On the treatment side.
Right. So
then on the right-hand side.
Sorry, Barry. Let's just stay on the left here. So what I X'd out here is there would only be 3 SKUs, and when you say you would put a box here, it would just be like a faux.
Yeah, faux box.
Correct.
Yeah.
All right, not shoppable.
Yeah.
Space saver.
And it's a marketing communication. We'll probably put it on the, on the left-hand side rather than the right-hand side of that tray, but yeah.
But for our manufacturing purposes,
one of the 5 SKUs we would double face.
Right, but for what our manufacturing purposes, and Erica, for what you did for spacing wise, you used this measurement on the left side, so we are good. Nothing has changed with the left side as far as
we're good.
How we did this, right? Okay.
And then the right-hand side is there are 3 different product types. On the top shelf, there will be 2 kits that will fill that tray. That's where our nail art kits are. I don't know off the top of my head what the dimension of that box is, but the idea is 2 kits there. The shelf below, same dimension, same 2 more kits. Right?
And Erica, that you had a dimension for this box.
I used double of the dimension of the box on the left.
That's right. Use double the dimension of the box on the left.
Yep.
Okay.
All right. So, and then the 3rd shelf would be, right now we have, there would be 8, right? So the same size box on the left-hand side, there would be 4, and then, so that's tray number 3 is 4 of those. Yep. And then tray 4 would be the same thing. So Logan, we would increase our 2 makes 3 rather than 5 kits. We would have 8 kits.
Okay, great.
Right? And then the 5th tray there would be on the left-hand side would be bottles of liquid nail polish remover. It's just 1 SKU. And then on the other side, there would be a box of nail polish remover wipes. The box would be the same width. It may be deeper than the box that Michael just showed you. So we'd probably only put, I don't know. We got to think through that. So that's the idea. So yeah, that's a bottle. That's another box with nail wipes.
Okay,
so that's the right hand side.
So that's good. That helps clarify. And also, what that means, that right side vac form is still okay. That size is acceptable to you guys that 8.5 by 10.
Yeah, we'll design. We'll make sure that the product. Let us just double check because we haven't sourced the bottle for the nail polish remover and for the wipes. We got to do that.
Okay.
We gotta firm up those two primary components.
How quickly can you do that? So I can.
Wipes and what is the size of the bottle? And the bottle can be sitting. It doesn't need to be pushed. We may be able to get two bottles. Two facings in that space, Michael, rather than you brew just one. I'd like to get two of that bottles in there, but give us till the beginning of next week to get a bottle dimension for you.
Okay.
Finalize the white box.
Okay. So we're gonna go for. We really have to decide about the pushers. Can you guys feed me what you think the pushers would cost? And then I'm going to work on the cost of these trays. I mean, I think it's going to be night and day, and it'll really drive your decision on what you want me to do.
Well, let me just take a picture of a pusher now. I mean, it's a metal spring and that injection molded piece. It can't be more than 10, 15 cents.
Oh, okay.
I'll take a picture of it right now, Michael. Hold on.
Okay. Joe G, you still there?
Yep.
Incorporating the pusher pad and the spring. I believe a long time ago, we routed out inside a vac form tray the little T where you put the spring in, and spring went back. It holds the pusher pad, but that pusher pad needs something to lock into, like a rail, right, to go back and forth.
Like a track. Yep.
So that track actually has to get purchased also.
Molded.
That can't get incorporated. That can't get formed.
You can't vacuum form it because it's an undercut.
Right. So the parts of the pusher tray would really be the spring, the pad, and the tray, just like we did with the Samsung, right? It's pretty much the same thing.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yep. Now, are you still planning on printing on styrene for the front, Mike?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm gonna go probably heavier than we normally do, just because it's gonna be in the store so long, and you're gonna have the pushers in there. You don't want any cracking or anything going on, in the vac form tray over time.
Okay. Well, to achieve that look they want on the right-hand side, I mean, it's just a matter of, you're going to do a full panel styrene front. I mean, so, you can route that out to any.
Well, this is going to be wood now. You may not, I don't know if I told you, it started out as acrylic or styrene. Now this whole unit is wood.
Yeah, but I thought you were still printing on styrene for the front.
Oh, this piece here?
Yeah.
I may be, but I don't know yet.
All right, because you do that as all one piece. You can get some of that look that you have on the left on the right-hand side.
Okay, I got you. Okay.
Did you get my text, Michael?
With the pusher, we have a bunch of pictures on the pusher. So we can ask around and see if there's places to buy these. But you can see the white plastic piece.
Yeah.
And that can be, shaped.
Yeah.
It just needs to push.
Yeah.
And then that metal spring is a piece of metal that just has the one end that
has that little flange in
and
there.
that flange hooks into the tray.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. So what we do here with this piece is you need a molded track for this to clip into and ride on, and that track will glue or however we attach it into the styrene tray. So you are buying a pusher, a spring, and a molded track that pad clips into and then attaches to our tray. That's how we would have to do that.
We're sending you a picture now of how an injection molded tray typically uses this spring.
Yep.
That it's the flange side hooks into the front of the tray, and then as you push the pusher back to the back of the tray, you know, it has the tension to come all the way forward, to spring forward.
Yep. Yep. Very familiar with these. Okay.
And
Yeah,
Sterling, I'm sure, has these as stock items.
Didn't you tell me that one of your customers buys the stock item from him?
Yeah, yeah. I think it's her injection. I think she made the tool for the tray. I'm sure she's buying pushers from him separately.
Right.
But she puts it, you know, she puts her molds up on his machines, and you know, she's running injection molded trays for us constantly.
Right.
For red carpets for the other brand.
Joe G, what's your thoughts on, we're talking 3 years. You know, we started out as wanting pushers, then it kind of got away from it because the depth of each side was so small that maybe we would get away from pushers because you're really talking about 4 inches. Is it really worth the money to buy a pusher system for 4 inches? But now that if we're heading back towards that direction, I have a little flag in my head that's going up when I'm thinking of a vac form tray that you're routing out an opening for 3 years of that pushing and pulling of the pusher system, possibly starting to crack the styrene opening. You know what I mean? Instead of
I don't know. It's moving such a short distance. You know, I just don't see it getting beat up that much.
Okay. All right. Erica, any thoughts on that? Because these are the concerns that if you don't bring it up now, in 2 years you get complaints.
I mean, I had the same question on the wear and tear. Also, if there's a rip in the back form, you know, because it's not going to be as thick as an injection molded tray per se.
Right.
But I mean, I know it's not moving that far either, so it's not like they're loading 8 inches, you know, where especially in the front. But
yeah, I mean, if we went with these are such low profile. If I went with a 70 gauge, which I think personally is probably going to be overkill, then there obviously shouldn't be any issues at all because that's going to be a real sturdy tray.
Right, that'll be thick enough.
Yeah. Okay. Okay. I think I'm good for today. I think we need to really digest all this. Erica, you and I start honing in on the vac form tray, get a sample made as quickly as possible, and I have to figure out timelines for the wood, getting the right color that's needed. So, guys, I think the priorities for Beauty Partners is giving me artwork and colors that you will need to be sourced for the final sample.
Yeah. We'll get that to you. You probably need it for a day by Tuesday.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. So, Erica, you and I can start working on the trays tomorrow. And then everything, and the rest of your final files will be built around that.
Okay. Sounds good.
All right. You guys good?
Yeah.
Yeah, all good.
All right. Great. Thanks for
Mike.
everybody for hopping on.
Everybody.
Thank you.
Oh, wait. I'm sorry. One more thing. Lights. So, if I bring up, let's see, picture. If I bring up, where is it? So let's say this is our unit, right? And we have the shelves. I think we have to talk about, would the lights go just down the sides of each cavity, or would each piece have to have lights on them?
Well, each shelf would be lit. And whether you light it from the top down or you light it from the bottom up, I mean,
I mean, I think underneath each shelf, because if you light it from the top down, because they cascade, I don't know if they'll create a shadow on some of the trays.
Right. What color were you doing these backforms in, Michael? Like, is it going to be? Were you thinking, because that'll matter in the light dispersion as well, correct?
Correct. I could do them in any color you want. I could PMS match anything.
I mean, if they were clear, would that help in the color, in the light dispersion? Like, will that make a big difference? Or, you know, if we light each tray, or really you can make it any color you want?
It's a good question. I can't answer that right this second. I have to think about that.
Okay. I mean, I think the lit scheme of this thing is to make it as dramatic as possible, highlighting the product. If we include a trans or something, you know, maybe to soften the edges, and we don't have that three-dimensional leaf. You know, I don't know. I guess that's something we do, like the three-dimensional part of it, and maybe even that could be lit. I have no idea. You know,
Right.
the leafy front.
Yeah.
That could be really, really cool if that's lit.
Right.
So I don't know. I guess you're going to have to tell us what limitation. We could dream this thing up and it'll have.
Yeah.
All of a sudden we have neon lights blinking. You know what I mean?
Right.
So we just need like a lasso around the lighting structure here.
Right. Like how they have the lights here, right, is everything here, it almost looks like it's lit from behind, maybe?
Yeah, exactly. That's the way they do theirs. Many of them have that electrified back wall.
Right.
So the tray itself is electrified. So as soon as you latch it into the back wall, the tray becomes lit. Clearly, we don't need to be that sophisticated on here. I think the LED strips are perfectly capable of lighting this fine.
Right. So really, maybe if we could accomplish lighting, maybe this, right?
Yeah.
And we'll have to figure out how to incorporate either a light from underneath shining down, or really
Maybe it goes behind the trimming, on the bottom of the trimming.
Now, are we talking about just lighting the front, or are we talking about lighting all three sides?
Preferable would be all three sides, but you know, again, everything's going to depend on cost here. We don't want to build something that you know,
right.
going to be totally crazy. The front is essential, I think.
Yeah. Okay. Let's play with that. I'll talk to John and we'll figure it out.
Okay.
All right, guys. I'm good for today. We'll touch base, but just everybody here on the call realize, let's not let any days slip, because September 19th makes me sweat right now.
Yeah, understood.
Okay. Thanks.
All right.
Thank you.
Okay.
All right. Bye.
Thanks.